Hour number two here on the Sports Spectacular, powered by IlliniGuys.com. Larry Smith, Brad Sturdy, Mike Kegley, our producer Tony Cordero is here, our editor Patrick Quinn. We appreciate everyone jumping in here this weekend as we now get into the meat of the month. Labor Day has passed us. Hey, it is a sellout Saturday night, Memorial Stadium. Congratulations to everyone who's jumping in on that. Kansas, Illinois. We'll hear from Brett Bielema here in just a moment. And by the way, don't forget to, as always, give us a follow on X Illini_guys is where you can find us. Hey, guess who's stopping in the studio on his way over to Memorial Stadium? It is Kedric Prince. He's got the 10-gallon hat on, jumped off the horse, jumped in, and he had to take that hat off to get the headphones on to talk to us. We appreciate that. Kedric Prince, Director of Recruiting for IlliniGuys.com. Ked, glad you're here, as always. Listen, huge recruit on Thursday for Shauna Green's Illini. What's up?
You talk about a way to start the class of 2025 for Shauna Green. Thursday morning, they received a huge commitment from Destiny Jackson, a 5'6", outstanding 5-star point guard. Just a huge commitment. Shauna has worked really hard to try to get players from the state of Illinois. She's lost a couple last year, but going into her third year, you can see she's starting to make some waves, and she's starting to get kids to believe and to know that it's okay to come to the University of Illinois to play basketball there. She's had some success with the guards, with Makira Cook and Genesis Bryant. It's kind of hard to say no, why you wouldn't want to come play there. And one of the biggest selling factors was because it's close to home, and and Shauna wanted that one person to get the ball rolling, and Destiny Jackson pulled the trigger. And I think it's a great get, just not just from a state of Illinois standpoint, but a national standpoint, because she's a top 25 kid and she's really competitive. Not just about ranking, but this girl is going to be on the court. She's super competitive. It's one of my favorite things I love about her.
This is so important for Shauna Green and her program to continue to recruit at an extremely high level. Bringing in Barry Wallace a year ago, McDonald's All-American. Now you bring in another girl who's going to be in the mix to be a McDonald's All-American. This is this is when she's got that, I guess, street cred right now. And now you're bringing in players that Illinois couldn't get a few years ago. Even Shauna Green, her first year, you had to kind of take what you could get and do more in the portal. Now she's able to recruit high school players, can be here for 4 years. And man, she's got this program on the right track.
Yeah, Destiny has a lot of talent. Ked, can you give us a thumbnail of what can be expected of her in terms of player comparisons?
One of the things that I just was thinking out loud to myself, which I do often, is I see a comparison of Genesis Bryant and Makira Cook, and that says a lot, because here's why I say that. I really think Genesis is an outstanding shooter, but I think Makira, when she handles the basketball, it's like a yo-yo. And that's the thing that I see with Destiny. I was talking to you guys earlier about how competitive she is. There's a girl who's ranked one spot below her. Her name is Kalisa, I believe, Parks. Fisher. She's committed to UConn as an 8th grader. And every time the two girls have played against each other, it has been a war, whether it be not on TV, whether it's on TV or not on TV. I had a conversation with Shauna. She was here in the Quad Cities earlier in the week, and I'm like, you got to get UConn on your schedule, because it is going to be priceless to watch those 2 5'6", 5'8" guards go head to head. So what the fans are going to get, they're going to get a girl that can shoot the ball. She can play defense. And that's one thing I think Shauna really loved about her as well. She's that typical Chicago tough-minded kid, Mike. And I'm just really excited to see her future develop under Shauna Green and her staff.
Yeah, I'm curious about Shauna and just what she's done. It's amazing, as we've talked about, only going into just her third year. I mean, what she has done in 2 seasons is amazing. How has she taken the WBIT championship from last season, and how has she taken that and added to her toolkit as she goes out and gets not just high school talent, but even getting players out of the transfer portal, as well as keeping some veteran players in for their fifth year. I mean, it's a veteran lineup backed up by some really talented players for this upcoming year.
Winning the WBIT was huge because one, when you walk in, to the gym, you're going to see that banner hanging. Regardless of, I'm sure they want to go to the NCAA tournament, but they had a chance to go play in postseason. And Larry, they rolled in that tournament. They beat a good Villanova team. What she's doing now is she was able to showcase what her team could do in the postseason, talent-wise, her coaching style, the freedom. That's one of the biggest things I guess I like about her when you talk to a number of the recruits is the freedom that she allows her players to play through. So when she's out there talking to these kids and, talking about the run that they had last year and, when they beat Iowa, which a lot of teams didn't do when Caitlin Clark was playing in Champaign, she utilizes a lot of those tools. And she has also both of the guards that I mentioned, and then they've been on all Big Ten teams and first or second team. So it's just easy to sell when you have success, and then the players have postseason success on individual awards as well.
Is there Ken? Another question, just real quick about this. Where do you see this going next? Like for this program, what's the next step? I mean, obviously, you're at a player like this. What's going to be next on the horizon for Shauna Green and her program this fall?
What's next, or who's next? I guess I should say.
Well, maybe.
Who's next to me? I think I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag. The next player, Brad, they really, really want this girl named Divine Burge out of Davenport North. Shauna was here this week to see her. That is an outstanding future backcourt. I mean, you talk about two girls that are in the top 25. Divine's ranked fifth in the country, and I know Illinois wants her. You talk to any college coach, Divine has the potential. They see her as an NBA prospect right away. To be honest with you, Dawn Staley has, coach of South Carolina, has told the family that. I mean, she doesn't put those comments out there very often, but if they can land Divine, that's two top 25 kids, that you can land. Then you're able to go and to get other recruits. You're able to say, hey, you know what? We got two girls here because they're on a lot of players. When Shauna was here this week to watch Divine work out, she was headed to Minnesota and then she was going to California. So she doesn't stop. I mean, that's one thing that she's doing. She's out working. She wants Illinois to win a championship. And the one thing she mentioned to me, the West Coast schools, they present another challenge. I mean, if you look at the national polls, Brad, coming in the next year, USC and UCLA are both in the top 5. Illinois is going to have to contend with them. So in order to do that, you have to go out and get top 25 talent. They're not swinging for, no disrespect to girls that are ranked, in the 99 or 100. They're going after top 25, 30, 40 recruits.
What is the unique trait that Shauna brings to bear that you're hearing when you talk to all the recruits, because that's what you do? Is there a thread of what they compliment Shauna on that's making her so effective?
Mike, I got goosebumps when you ask that question because she is truly genuine. And I mean, you talk to her, it's like talking to my mother. She's down to earth. She doesn't give you answers that you don't want to hear. I will use I will use Destiny, the girl who just committed. She was being recruited by the previous staff that was there. She liked Illinois. When this new staff came in, Shauna hit a home run. She was able to present to her to let her know that we're going to win games here. We're not just telling you this because every coach tells you this. When she was talking to the group of girls, it was early spring. I want you to watch how I utilize my guards. I'm going to give you this freedom. People tell you that if you come to Illinois, that you can't win championships. She is a real good motivator. She's truthful. And here's the thing that I really like. She doesn't lie to kids. She will never promise a kid a starting spot. She lost a kid to the University of Iowa. You can do your homework if you want, because she did not promise a kid a spot. And that's what parents like. They like how genuine she is. And I'll use Divine Burge's mom. She has mentioned to me a number of times, she's like, I've talked to Kim Mulkey from LSU. I've talked to Dawn Staley. I'm going to tell you right now, Shauna's my girl because she's genuine. I mean, it's just down to earth. There's nothing fake. And sometimes parents don't want to hear all those same answers. You go for an official visit, whether it be football or basketball, they're going to sugarcoat everything. She doesn't do that. She's like a mom to them.
Guys, I want to get in one more question. This weekend, obviously, huge game at Memorial Stadium. We know that football time is also time for recruits. Who are some guys coming in that you know about that we should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, Larry, there's a kid from Australia, Jacob Furphy, who is coming in on an official visit this weekend. He is a 6'4" guard. They call him Baby Luca. He's kind of not the most athletic guy, but man, he's extremely skilled. And he just has ability to knock down shots, knows how to play, plays with great pace. And, he's another one of those kids, although he's Australian, he plays like he's a European kid who has just the high skill level, able to use his body, get where he wants to go on the floor. Would be a huge get for Illinois in that 25 class early on.
Brad, how is Illinois getting in on these players internationally? Because that's not something that's easy to do.
Well, with Jeff Alexander's ties and Orlando Antigua's ties internationally, they've really, covered the gamut. And one thing about it is for the last few years, and when Jeff Alexander was hired, Brad Underwood mentioned his international ties. Well, he spent so much time overseas at all these U18, U17, U16 tournaments that he's able to go around Europe and then in South America and things like that. So with him and Orlando, of course, knows everyone is, and so you put those two guys together and you just have such an inside track to all these foreign kids. And Illinois, I think it's one of those things where they would love to get the, in-state local high-level 4- and 5-star kids like a Merez Johnson, for example. But if there's not the talent leaving state, I mean, those kids, they've left the state for high school. So now you got to go find the best players out there, and they're not worried about where they're from. They just want the best players that are going to fit what they do on the court.
It's a far cry from the days when we were waiting on Chicago, isn't it? It's just,
different animal.
It's amazing how it has changed. Hey, Ked, as always, man, we appreciate the knowledge. Listen, safe travels on the horse heading back west. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, fellas.